The mix.
I
I love
know.
the 8-man massage
Got
guy.
the scream in there as well.
Welcome to the Hat Chat Podcast, episode 83. We're your dearest parasocial friends and allies, Hat Films. Specifically, I'm Chris Trott.
Hi, specifically Chris Trott. I'm specifically Ross Hornby.
And I am dubiously Alex Smith. Thank you, Furion, for that fingle there. They're a UK post-hardcore band. You can find them at Furion Music on YouTube. I actually watched a couple of their videos before promoting it. So they seem like some nice people. And there's some interesting videos on there. So
Apart from their questionable, like, really ranty politic videos, which are a little strange.
Yeah, I didn't know you could go that far right that you come back round again.
The fact that they're calling for a purge as well is a bit odd, but their music's great.
Yeah.
Thank you, Furo Music on YouTube. Good lads.
Indeed.
Thank you very much. As always, there's some really good lads out there and ladettes that are supporting us on Patreon. Thank you for that. And you've helped us select the hypothetical questions of the week. So if you would like to sign up and also vote on that poll, wow, what good interactive experiences we give you for Hat Chat, head to patreon.com/hatfilms. Wowie. So what is the patron that they chose today, Alexander Dubious Smith?
The Patreon hypothetical of the week is you have 24 hours to make yourself the "and finally" story on tomorrow's 6 o'clock news. What do you do?
Okay.
So the "and finally" story would traditionally be something like memorable or unusual, right? Like
Is it
or
lighthearted?
hopefully, right? They don't want to finish it. I think this is more of an American thing than a UK thing.
Yeah.
Because usually it just in the UK, I find news just devolves into news about
Just
sport.
gets-
Which
yeah.
I really don't give a shit. It's like, and in the cricket,
now the
it's just
weather.
like, I appreciate people enjoy cricket, but it doesn't need to be on national news. Like, you know, like they have ways to get that news now. The cricket can, I like it as a sport, but I don't want to fucking hear about it. I certainly don't want to hear about football because hooey.
Are there not
Anyway,
sports sections for those things?
but it runs usually. If you watch like an evening news, I don't know,
Yeah, it
Channel
comes at the
4 news or whatever. Yeah, they go like, you know, after the major stories, it then devolves into sports news, which for me just isn't news really, because like sports games are played repeatedly, like the Ashes. That's a continuing tournament.
Yeah.
And, you know,
It never ends.
it's never ending. It's like you know, they might as well have an entertainment section. I suppose some news broadcasters do, but I don't feel. Anyway, what would I do to get on the 6 o'clock news? Man rants for hours and hours and hours about how there are stupid segments
World
in the
record
news.
rant holder, Alexander Smith.
Still going.
Has never stopped, much like the Ashes. In which case, let's move on to the sports news of the day. I'm not sure.
What would you guys do? I need some suggestions. Nothing came to mind.
I'm trying to think. Well, for some reason, I'm thinking of like either something with loads and loads of puppies,
Right.
like in one place.
Man
Puppy
raises-
bath.
Finds 2,000 puppies in a very enclosed area. I'd feel like
Man
That
liberates
doesn't
puppy
sound
farm.
nice.
some of them are going to die.
Yeah.
In
Yeah.
that kind of contained space.
Man successor rehomes all sheltered dogs in UK.
Yes, that's
Wow.
big though. That would
That's
be
a lot.
not just the. And finally, it would be a.
By
hang
the
on,
way-
guys,
he's
big
ended
news.
homeless dogs
Yeah.
and
I
sheltered
can't
dogs.
believe I'm reading this, but a guy has completely solved animal abuse.
Yeah.
This is
Oh my
how
god,
did this happen?
That's incredible.
I guess it depends on how
Yeah.
you're doing that.
Come on, something a bit less
Specifically.
major, I guess.
Something
Like
less.
there's got to be
major.
small scale.
Okay.
Like man kills
I've got
robber
one.
with frozen baguette.
No,
Like,
Killing,
right.
murder.
Yeah.
at the
man
end.
identified as Chris Trott successfully farts a complete English sentence.
Wow. Or
Oh,
like,
boy.
could it be a musical tune instead of an English sentence?
Hold
Like,
that.
the national anthem. in
I reckon with enough practice, you could get your butthole to say things. Definitely. Like,
I
there's
think
quite a
so.
fine level of control, isn't it? I mean, it's largely sounds, but like, you could make a language with that. Yeah. I mean, at the very least, Morse code.
Yeah, I'd agree. I'd
So-
completely agree.
We can
Yeah.
pause for a second to sort that out, by the way. I'll
Okay.
just edit it out.
Okay.
All right.
It's just that it seems like it's down on the stream.
Yeah.
Weird.
Maybe the USB-C went to sleep and it cuts the Ethernet off.
Do you reckon it does that?
Here we go. You back?
Are we
The
back?
dogs are listening.
Hello?
It seems like it may have popped back. Yeah.
It's this freaking...
You didn't miss anything.
You
We're
didn't
gonna-
miss anything important.
We'll cut that part on the at least the audio podcast.
What's
We
your
can do
best
it in
freeze
video as
face
well.
you can do, Ross? After your gag earlier, I can still see him moving. You went for the open mouth freeze face. That's bold.
You have to do something braver
makes,
because
like-
I think it's if you don't like use you see it has to be something where you're obviously uncomfortable because someone's like, why would he freeze like that? Like you need to keep in that position.
Yeah, just
So if you're just in mid laugh, you're like,
that's good. That's a good one. Yeah, good
but
freeze.
it's like
Top 5.
it's difficult.
Top 5 freezes.
It's eyebrows are moving. Okay, shit.
So okay, you got to numb
dropping.
those things. If you had a full face of Botox, you'd be laughing because it just paralyzes all the muscles
would
in your
you?
face. Would I go for Botox?
No, would you be laughing
No.
if you had a full face?
You couldn't. You've just paralyzed your whole face.
It's hilarious. I can't move anything right now.
To be honest, no smile laughing is pretty funny.
Yeah, I think Trott is a good one.
Anyway, I think we fixed all the...
Oh, you went for a freeze.
issues
Not
now.
bad. Not bad. Not a bad freeze there. Pretty good. Way too like posy though. It looked too good almost.
Yeah.
No, again, see, it's just like it's the same pose.
Right. How did things sound and look to everybody now? I've foregoed
Somebody
the
said
Ethernet cable.
huge audio desync.
That sounds
Is that
good.
because of our freezing?
Have I synced it back in now? Do things look marginally better? It's good. It's fine now. Okay, perfect. Let's carry on. Ross, this is the moment. You can come back now with the re-edit.
I'm back. Yeah. Okay, we're back in.
Wow. That was really interesting, that conversation. Let's move on.
Nice.
So
Well, hold on.
what would
Did we move
your
on
and
from the-
finally news be, Ross?
I think
And it can't be
should
puppies.
involve- It can't be the puppies thing. Okay. Maybe I could stop like a ferry or something, or like man drives car off end of ferry, but it's fine because he lands in giant fishing net.
Yes.
So it
That's
has to
great.
be.
That's a
No
good
one can
one.
die. No one
Yeah,
can die.
yeah, you're right.
No one
Yeah,
can get
yeah.
wounded, but it
Yeah.
needs to be like. It doesn't really matter if a car gets like damaged
Yeah.
or something. It's more just like a. Okay, so you've driven off the end of a ferry. You went too far, and landed in a giant net.
What if it was like a
Hilarious TikTok ensues.
Rube Gold machine?
Yeah.
Is that
Rube
what they're
Goldberg.
called?
Rube
Gold-
Goldberg? Rube?
Rube
Rube
Goldberg.
Goldberg,
Rube.
I think.
What if it was
Check.
like
Yeah,
that,
Rube
where you
Goldberg.
just create a domino effect of events which save like animals and people and stuff?
Yeah.
Like you diving off that ferry actually hit a net of illegally captured dolphins in a net,
Wow.
tears the
yeah.
hole, releasing all of them. They were being looked for months from like whale and dolphin conservation. They were looking for these dolphins. They were netted by these guys, and you just came in at the right time with that car and took them out. And then it floated to the surface, and then you jump out the car and realize that someone was actually drowning. You got them in the car, and you brought them out, and you perform CPR, and you resuscitate them. So you also saved a person's life as well. And that
so
turns
much
out to
going
be the
on.
long lost Meatloaf, who actually didn't pass away, and he was
God,
just going out
he
swimming.
died.
He did actually die, though.
Just went for a very long swim.
just
R.I.P.
went.
Meatloaf. Made some
R.I.P.
And
Meatloaf.
finally,
music.
Meatloaf died. Is that like that's not
And finally,
And finally,
Legendary singer
Finally, you
Meatloaf.
might like his music or like his part in Fight Club, which I watched the other day.
oh, nice.
Yeah, he was good. He was good in that.
Was it?
Yeah.
He's a very theatrical person, wasn't he? All his
Name
music
is
videos were
Robert
always
Paulson.
crazy. But I
Robert
would, with
Paulson.
my and finally, it would be man leads pod of 3,000 strong mink to murder entire population of Faroe Islands in their sleep.
That doesn't
Sleep well,
sound
good night.
so
Thank you,
wholesome.
good night. And then I'd shuffle the papers and be like, good night. I'm also the host.
Good night.
Of course.
It was me.
Wink. We don't know who it was. Wink. That doesn't seem like an and finally piece of news there.
No.
That seems like a dramatic, like, top line headline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not like a entire Faroe Islands wiped out by mink.
No, it is. You're right. Yeah, no, Ross nailed the format. Like, we could go through a few permutations. It has to be a mundane act, turns into something crazy, but then doesn't end too bad.
Yeah,
right.
The format needs to be. It's wacky. It's kooky. It's crazy. No one dies. There is no real threat to anyone. There's no disaster there. It's just look, this happened. Like old lady lifts bus to save child's leg. Like, wow, like really? Let's see the video for that.
That's crazy.
And then you can see this, old age pensioners go, is it free yet? And then the leg is
using the last of all my
leg
strength.
is free. It's just it's a broken leg, but it can be mended. And the granny was super strong.
My grandma still hauls pallets around her garden, like wooden shipping pallets to chop up for firewood. She does that. She's pretty
strong.
Hard. I hope I live as long as her. Huh?
Could she pick up her bus?
Probably not. No, I'd probably lean towards no. Unlikely.
Okay.
But maybe we should test her. Yeah. We'll rig it up. We'll prank her. I'll be under a bus, and you guys will have to be like my accomplices.
Granny.
Like,
no, Alex, it's trapped under the bus. Who
if
could
only there was a
possibly
granny
be
with
related
miraculously.
That would be a reality show I'd watch. Like there's like the ninja programs, whatever, where these guys show their strength.
Mm-hmm.
We want a granny version where they kind of, it could be bags of shopping. This one's filled with melons, for example. Lift this one
How
up.
Many melons can
and
this granny lift?
Rather than strong men lifting up giant concrete boulders, we do have grannies picking up melons.
Yeah.
And then
you can have
test just strength of the granny. I think that would be an interesting program. Unless it takes a turn to the dark side where the granny obviously perishes under the strain of lifting up.
Oh wow! And that's what people. It's like NASCAR. People are watching.
But it's going to be one of those.
Are they going to make it through?
It's going to be like there's an audience there for that as well.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm sorry, Deirdre had to be stretched out. She should be okay, but we can't confirm anything right now.
Yeah, I mean she's old.
The audience are filtering into the venue, and they're like, "Are you a fan of the sport or a fan of geriatric death?" And they're like, "Column A, column B,
bit of both."
I'll have one on my smartphone and one on the TV. I'm mixing up both of them.
If there's two grannies that manage to get the same amount of points at the end, they have to do a one-on-one handbag duel where they're like slinging their handbags at each other to the death.
Yeah.
Nice. And the prize is always just sponsored by some food aimed at old people. You just win a year's supply of sardines.
Yeah. But should it
you
also
get
be
life
mental
insurance
strength as well? Like mental strength, and maybe we can hand them a smartphone. And they have to type out something really quickly, or maybe just find the answer for this on Google or something. And that's they're timed to do that. I think
we're going to log you into Facebook. Yeah. Try not to dox yourself. Dox themselves in 3 minutes 58 seconds. That's a new record.
Find a way to delete your Facebook now and go. Okay, she's really struggling. She's in the settings. Oh, she's gone straight to the settings. Amazing.
Amazing. They usually hang around in Facebook Marketplace and accidentally post photos of their own face.
Or they're just scrolling. They're just scrolling and just reading the articles.
Well, I think we got our and finally news. And finally, we have our first victor from Granny's Grand Gauntlet here today.
Gauntlet.
Yeah, having beaten to death the second place with a handbag. So she's the strongest in the UK.
Yeah. Brutal,
do you
Granny.
have the strength of a geriatric?
And then
it's particularly good. She's lifted those melons right off the ground. Well, she does that every morning, Bob.
The award could be a very cliched, silver yarn of wool with knitting needles in it.
Nice.
And that's on a pedestal type thing.
But it's extremely heavy.
Really heavy. Putting these people in a box as well.
It really is. It's. I mean,
you only like knitting and sardines.
Sardines, is that?
Or, some form of fish out of a tin for breakfast.
What would your stereotype of an old lady be then? So, I mean, I've gone for
someone
yarn.
from the 1930s.
Well, yeah.
Because that's when my grandma's 90 something or another.
That's insane.
She can remember putting gas masks on when she was walking to school because they thought they were going to get gassed by the Germans.
I can remember putting masks on.
Yeah. Not quite as good fitting, though.
No. True.
Yeah.
And
not
filtered.
as rubbery.
Gas mask. That's crazy. Oh.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think we've covered that hypothetical quite nicely.
have.
So would you like to move on to a second hypothetical, or would you like to move on to funny news?
Throw us a hypothetical and let's do it.
All right. So the second one that was voted for actually is different from what I put, but you can go with that one if you like.
Well, first of all, I just want to credit the Ninja Warrior in the chat there. That's a great name for that show. I mean, this one, I very quickly do it if you want.
Go on, then.
If Jurassic Park was real, would you visit the park? Yes.
Of course I would.
How about you guys?
You guys saw the film, right?
Yeah. You got to presume that there was plenty of good customers before that as well, though.
Yeah.
Great trips.
I think much like many of these Disneyland parks and stuff, I feel like you get a taste of them when you see like videos of them, and then you're like, oh yeah, I'll go there now. I think I'll give it some time. I won't be the first customer.
Why not?
Nor will I be the 100th customer, but I will
be
go.
the first person to observe from a customer experience the T-Rex.
Yeah, but I also have seen Jurassic Park.
Right.
And even
but don't let that put you off.
Well, I will.
Okay, on opening day. People are saying on opening
day. Okay, specifically opening day. I mean, I'll be honest. If they came to us and said, "Oh, guys, we need you to, maybe we can do a vlog on it," in there, definitely. Because I mean, think of the footage you'd get. But as a regular customer, I'd probably be a bit skeptical and be like, "Well, I'll wait until reviews come out."
Are you sure, Ross? We'll give you a tour of the kitchens.
Oh, the kitchens, no way.
I want some jelly.
Nice. Look for hiding spots.
We're eating that fucking jelly scene. The jelly scene, man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no. I would totally go. I love them. Yeah, I'm surrounded by little dinosaurs right now.
Imagine much bigger ones. The one to eat.
Yeah, it'd be nuts. I'd be interested to see if anyone would jump in the pool with the big dinosaur. The one in the most recent.
Was jumping in the pool an option, or you mean just to see if someone just goes for it? It's just
if it was an option,
going in.
See, I didn't really have that urge when I was like a teenager and I went to SeaWorld before I realized that they're holding whales in captivity. I didn't have an urge to jump in with Shamu.
Yeah. No, I know exactly. It's freaky, right? Those are huge creatures. Like a killer whale is a big old fish. But I think I would respect the person that would jump in with a plesiosaur or something like that.
I thought it was a crazy hybrid of something.
Do
you think if scientists came out today and said, by the way, we're actually working on cloning these, do you feel like, and they said, oh look, we've got a breakthrough, we've actually managed to hatch a little baby T-Rex, would you be fearful of that idea, or would you be astounded at the science behind the technology behind that?
I mean, there's a lot of scary animals out there.
Be doing that?
I wouldn't be particularly scared of an individual dinosaur that's probably nowhere near us, because the UK climate probably wouldn't be good for a dinosaur. Would they help climate change? Is what the scientists doing right now actually?
I don't know. What if they grew them for meat?
Dinosaur meat.
They're brainless. They don't get born with a brain. They grow.
So why are they making like dinosaur-shaped creatures with like all the other body parts?
They've nailed it.
I mean, why not?
The growing dinosaurs.
Why not?
But they're like, well, it's weird. We've actually managed to remove the brain entirely, so it doesn't have any kind of real consciousness. It just grows into a giant body on the floor. And then
that's really gross.
You'd want to be able to see it move around, wouldn't you?
It'll move its legs and arms.
Just twitching lifelessly.
It'll twitch them around. Well, isn't that something that they were thinking of, or something that was happening at one point where they were doing it with chickens, where they were trying to develop or genetically modify them so that they didn't actually have brains, or at least any kind of real knowledge of what's going around them, which sounds obviously brutal, but if you don't know, do you care?
It's the old life moral question, isn't it? The quandary.
It really is, yeah.
Well, the Earth isn't going to survive unless we work out a different way to do meat, like
to satiate our desire for meat.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Like we need to work out, especially in countries that eat a lot of beef. The US. The US eats just a ridiculous amount of beef versus a lot of other nations, and it's the most intensive meat, like energy intensive meat to create, and all of the byproducts that get produced. So I imagine it will go that way. I think that we will eventually be growing meat. What's interesting is, I was actually thinking about this morning. We eat meat as part of like an ecosystem, right? So like our cows eat the grass in the fields, which is like
Pumped with antibiotics.
Which, well, the cows are, yeah, but like, you know, the fields grow using the air around them, which could be polluted due to cars. But it's also full of, you know, micro like biomes, like, you know, like things that will be passed up the food chain to us that we might be benefiting from, and also that our bodies have learned, like, you know, immune wise, how to deal with. If we switch over to growing lab grown meat, we're essentially eating totally clean meat, right? And so we'll probably see a change in the microbiome of our gut. Essentially, what I'm saying is, like, the further we move away from the natural world and our interaction with it, the more we're going to have to develop things to allow us to live. If you know what I mean, like
if you imagine they would try and
stuff.
compensate that in the products they're making.
They would, I imagine, but equally, it's something else you have to synthesize, right? It's the same thing about, like, you know, kids growing up super clean these days. There's good evidence to suggest that, you know, playing in the mud as a kid, okay, you don't want to like play in the dog shit, but playing in soil, playing in a garden, things like that, is actually really good for developing your body's natural like sort of its microbiome in your gut, which controls an awful lot, and your immune system as well develops. Like, I don't want to, you know, quote quackery, but there is some evidence to suggest people have less allergies if they're subjected to more allergens when they're younger. Equally, if you eat too much of a certain thing like peanut butter, there's evidence to suggest that you get allergies if you overeat certain things, right? Certain allergens. So there's all sorts of there's so much more science around.
Ross.
Yeah,
imagine becoming allergic
so much
to mini
more
eggs
about ourselves as natural creatures that we don't know.
Thing.
That, like, yeah, growing meat isn't the greatest idea, but I think it will be necessary if we want to eat meat and have
methane, right, as well in the atmosphere.
But then rice paddies also produce loads of methane as well.
Do they really?
But you're absolutely right. Yeah, the methane production.
It's just anything to reduce is probably a good thing. But I mean, I don't know if that's even like being worked on. I read somewhere a long time ago that was something that was considered, basically creating brain dead, just growing meat as is. Didn't they make a burger which cost like $300,000 in terms of research and all this other stuff, and they said it was really good, but like
I think we're past the point now of needing to genetically modify a living chicken, down to something that isn't technically considered alive. We can just recreate meat now without having doing the living part at all. It's just breast meat, manufactured with stem cell research or whatever. I don't know what they're doing, but yeah, they just grow it as a piece of meat and that's it. You don't have to undo a chicken, basically.
Yeah.
Did you imagine a vegan could eat that comfortably, knowing that it's not?
I know a lot of vegans that said they consider it. Yeah,
because ultimately, that's a good.
Depends
thing,
on your view of why you're doing veganism. Are you doing veganism
if you
because of a diet choice,
of it being a meat
or animal
like,
abuse? Yeah,
because some people don't like the fact that like burgers are still called burgers or whatever in vegan terms, because it just makes you think again about meat, and then
just call them boigies.
Process some boigies. Yeah,
boigies.
Get some boigies. But no, I would wait for reviews, by the way, and then go visit Jurassic Park.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
Sweet, thank you. And on that note, it's about time for an advert break. And obviously, those on our Patreon will get the ad-free version, or maybe you'll be lucky and not get one at all. So we'll see you in a few. Oh, look at that. We're straight back again. Look at that. Amazing.
It's already over. It's already done.
It's already bloody done.
There's a funny news story that was sent to me. I'm just seeing who sent it to me. I think it was the Saucy Crumpet sent it to me on Twitter.
Nice.
It's a weird one and involves penises again.
Good.
I mean, if you're familiar with this podcast, I'm sure
It's a running theme.
Yeah, it's a running theme. Anyway, the headline is "Impotent Man, 45, may never be able to use his penis again after his partner accidentally is the key word here, deployed expanding foam inside his urethra in a bizarre attempt to keep him erect during sex." Now, before we go further, like, how do you imagine just that thought process alone? How do you imagine that's going to work? Do you think it's going to be like, well, that'll keep it up? Surely you're better off using like a rod, like, rather than expanding foam.
I mean, in a bizarre way, it does make sense. But I mean, it's clear that it's going to damage.
They didn't do the math,
Like,
did they?
They didn't work out the cubic, fill space.
God.
It sounds horrible. Anyway, let's just see where this goes. So, an American man may never be able to use his penis again after his partner accidentally sprayed expanding foam into his urethra. The 45-year-old patient had to have a new opening cut between his scrotum and his anus to urinate.
Fucking idiots! You
Hardened
idiots!
And became anchored in his penis. I mean, we can, yeah.
You
It is
stupid bastard.
This is a lesson everyone needs to learn. If you're listening at home and you're thinking, hang on, I was about to literally put expanding foam down my urethra. Stop.
Yeah.
What happens is it hardens and becomes anchored in your penis.
So much so that they have to cut a new hole
in your
between
gooch.
your asshole and your dick in your gooch, so you can piss out of it. Does that sound like it's worth it?
Yeah, exactly. And I know our audience, and almost 90% of them will be thinking about doing this anyway. So
someone's listening right now while they're insulating the lining of their walls with expanding foam and thinking, I've got a bit left here. And then thankfully they hear this news article.
When you've got expanding foam.
God,
medics who treated him revealed he will only qualify for reconstructive surgery if he passes a psychiatric evaluation. Okay, that's strange. Okay. The unidentified man was struggling with impotence, and he had been inserting various objects into the opening of his penis during sex to stay erect. Is that like? Is that a method?
That's sounding. That is sounding.
Yes.
That's sounding. Yeah.
Yeah, sounding it out. That's for sure.
So he's been sounding a lot, and I mean, if you're at that sort of extreme,
is that what it does? That it keeps you, or is he just trying to keep any
he's reinforcing
the object? Kind of, it's a reinforcement.
It's like rebar.
Yeah, it's a scaffold.
Got to run a bit of rebar through him. Yeah, but seriously, like, I mean, I feel like this person was probably already doing some pretty extreme sex acts, and they went too far. You can go too far. People die.
Do you know what really
don't put a jar up your ass.
About this individual is they're clearly very horny and sexually active and probably enjoyed a lot of that, and now to go from like this extreme highs of sounding to you can't do any of that now
because there's some stuff. What was it? What was the word you used?
Expanding foam.
Yeah, it was locked. And what was the word you used?
Anchored.
Anchored, because there's now expanding foam anchored into the place you used to piss.
Well, yeah,
from.
of course, it's expanded to the maximum of the room inside his urethra,
and it just filled
then lock in place, which is what it's designed to do. It's doing its job. If you need expanding foam, that's exactly what it does. You would spray it into an area.
Just
which you
take
want to
some
fill.
fucking responsibility for yourself.
Well, I think they have to a degree. I mean, they went to the doctors. There was an X-ray. Obviously, you can't see that.
It's very.
But I mean, like, just like
you don't need to see it, I guess.
Take some sort of decisions on yourself and go, you know what? No, I'm not gonna chase that dragon. Yeah. I'm not gonna do that because this is risky. And even though I'm sure it could be fun in my mind, I feel like it's a good point to stop.
Well, it does explain later on here that they didn't mean to spray inside. So it says things went horribly wrong during one of these sessions when the man's partner tried to use the straw of a can of insulation spray to keep him firm. So it's the straw he was using. Yeah, but it was still attached. The can was attached. So are you just sounding with the straw?
That's a cover.
And then you're like, well, but the can's still on the other end. You can take those straws off. In fact, I have something here which is literally just canned air.
Oh, he's going to do it. Going to do a live one.
You can pop that bad boy off and look, sounding device. This is your I mean,
hell.
God, just think of the edges though. Scraping on the inside is just horrible to even think about. But look, it's on the can now.
Oh, while it's attached though, give it a little press.
There's and then
go on. Fill it with some air.
Fill it with some air. Go on.
At some point, the man's unidentified partner
thinking about it
accidentally hit the button on top of the can, deploying the foam inside of his penis. Whoopsie! Whoops! A little bit more. No.
I bet there was a moment.
Take the straw first before inserting, maybe.
Okay, so this has just happened to you. What's your quick fix?
Oh fuck!
You try and
Jesus!
You try and get it out. Like,
well,
how
obviously,
are you getting it out
a strong acid needs to go down there to dissolve it.
So you're grabbing acid.
I imagine I'd be going at it like the end of a toothpaste.
You'd be trying to get it out. Yeah. You're basically just squeezing your penis. It's obviously flaccid. And you're trying to desperately push.
I'm not aroused in any way at this point. Yeah.
God, no. What about the idea of maybe using a Hoover to maybe also use the straw.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Maybe use duct tape on the end of the Hoover so it creates a clean suction, and then just sucking that out.
Might introduce some more
I would double
complications.
down. I'd pop the can off the end of the straw, leave the straw in there, and then just put it as close as I could to my butthole and pull the trigger. You know? I'd double down. Let's get me fully insulated. Let's see where they cut the next hole. You know?
Oh
like,
my god, yeah.
Oh, Christ. Let's try and attack it from the other end.
Oh my god, there are actually loads of images. I didn't even.
There are loads of images. I was scrolling through.
There are images of the foam.
Yeah,
and
being
there's
extracted.
loads of foam. How much of that foam did they use? That looks like wait.
That's not a like tap on top.
Don't
is
show
it?
the image.
What about that? You got to blast it out with piss or jizz. You know,
Okay.
as in like get behind it.
Oh, how? Okay, there's no way this was an accident as well, because like the amount
There's
here
so
is
much.
definitely not like.
It's not so much like how much it expands.
Let's see how much we can put in, because this also enters the man's bladder, which is.
That's so gross.
So there you go. I mean,
Just so fucked. The people, the doctors looking at them must have just been
we
like,
don't
"You
need to go
fucking
further
idiot!
into
You
it. That's
fucked
enough
yourself.
now,
You've
isn't it?
absolutely fucked yourself."
That's
so yeah,
rough.
there's a lot more. In fact, this article is really in depth. There's a
Pretty
lot
hot,
of
though.
information here. It goes on to also someone putting a USB cable up their ass and things like that. Yeah,
That sounds
It's just-
completely tame now, doesn't it?
it really does. It really
You could
does.
pop a 12 volt on my, a 9 volt on my butt, and I'd be like, I would take 20 of those over doing more than that.
Expanding foam.
Sorry,
over
the
expanding
headline.
foam trick.
So this is a sub-headline on a separate story. Boy, 15, gets knotted USB cable stuck in his penis during experiment to work out how big his member was. Now, of course,
In it.
I'd like to imagine that this person knows what a ruler is, or a 30 centimeter ruler, maybe a foot-long ruler. But they used a USB cable and put that in their penis.
How
Yeah.
the hell do you get a cable in your penis?
I feel like their cover
Honestly,
stories
I
aren't
don't
very
know.
good.
This
I feel like,
is fun.
I was just using it to measure inside, like how long it was, of course, not because I was fucking a horny teenager doing some weird shit.
Well, I don't know what stage you have to be at to then go.
What type of USB we talking here,
USB
Ross?
cable's looking at me funny. Maybe I should whack it down my bell end.
Have we got Type A, Type B, Type C? Is it the reversible one? Is it the mini?
I'll tell you what. It's from this image here. It looks like it's a regular USB, of course, and then the end looks like a USB B. Now you know the older ones, not the
Oh, the
mini,
the Nintendo Switch.
It's not the mini one. It's
the
it's the
DS.
older.
Yeah.
But it's still small.
Yeah.
So that I don't know which end went in first. They've not explained.
I hope not
Anyway,
the big end.
It's all right. We can probably
Sounding.
just sounding. It's a dangerous game. Careful out there.
It is a dangerous game.
Be careful out there.
There's
The
a light
doctors and nurses must be
The
like
sexual rush though.
measuring.
Hard to beat, isn't it?
Yeah, sure.
Measuring.
You
You
just
keep it
tap
like-
the end of the expanding foam
Yeah.
spray can. All right.
Yeah.
did.
Tell that to
okay.
Daily
with-
Mail.
Yeah, with the quantity they pulled out of him, I don't think that's just a quick squirt. That's for sure.
15 meter USB.
This is a very
Diamond
long one.
plated.
It just keeps going like a fucking what's it called? Handkerchief trick.
Yeah,
You know,
but
they're
like, what was the? You want to know what the out? Like, why are they measuring it to that point where they're like, I've got it all in there? Who are they telling about this?
Well, then
Obviously, they're
they
telling
probably
the
would keep
doctor
it to
at the end of the
themselves.
day, but it's not just like, well, I actually managed to get this entire length of USB down.
So I was
my
just
penis.
trying to measure like the circumference and the inside of my penis with this SCART cable, and it somehow got itself wedged right in my bladder. I don't know how.
Oh God,
SCART cable. That's fucking huge.
the SCART cable. Jesus fucking Christ, I haven't used them in years.
Is that a breakout cable?
That's a breakout cable right there.
We got a breakout in here.
We
I
got
put an
power.
electric, put an electric car charging plug in my ass. Oh no!
Fuck me.
Jesus.
If you're ever thinking about putting electrical products up your ass or down,
There's a
your
reason you're
penis,
overthinking it.
Don't.
Usually,
bother.
if it feels like this might be dangerous.
This
Yeah.
might be a
Usually
little
it's-
There might be a
dangerous.
product out there that's designed for that use. Get that.
Yeah, USB
instead.
hub.
A USB hub.
Get that whole thing down my pee hole. I got this thing's got all sorts on it. You know,
I got a
now
10
I've
plug
got-
power brick here. Surge protected though, so I'll be fine.
Don't worry about it. If I get electrocuted, I'll get 10 grand off Master Plug.
Jesus.
There is a specific clause because of me now.
Yeah.
We will not pay out for people
It's
using
printed
this.
on the back.
There's a sounding device.
Why is it that every plug we get these days has a label on it saying "not a sex toy"?
This coffee is hot. Something had to happen. Anyway, there is a lighter story here, which I just found funny because I read. Go on.
Speaking of which, didn't you say, was it you that had the thing about the coffee in your lap?
What about the coffee in my lap? What?
Was it you that were telling me the story about how they just shut the window after they gave it to you? Oh, who the fuck was it? No, it was my brother.
Oh, it's okay. What happened to it?
You know the whole coffee in the lap thing? Like that's what you were saying
filling,
about this coffee is hot. The reason that McDonald's had to, and lots of places now, put hot beverage inside on the outside of a coffee cup is because somebody spilled it in their own lap at a drive-through, scolded themselves horribly, and then managed to win a legal case because they said they didn't realize that the coffee was going to be hot.
Yeah.
But my brother was at a drive-thru the other day. Sorry, I brought it up because I thought it was one of you two, and I was like, that's quite funny. Less so now that it's not. But my brother was at a drive-thru, like a McDonald's or a Burger King the other day, and he reached out to pick up the cup, and they hadn't put the lid on properly.
Oh,
he brought it across, and just as
far.
he got the coffee cup into his car window, the bottom fell off and just dunked his entire legs. Upper legs. He's in a suit on the way to work. All over his legs, and I was like, "Shit! What are they? Were they like, oh my god, I'm so sorry?" He's like, "No. They saw that it happened, and they just slammed the window shut."
Yeah. Oh, for fuck's sake!
Apparently, just went like apparently said, "Oh, the girl panicked, and then she just slammed the drive door window shut."
She's like, "My job is done. I'm over."
I feel like so that's their problem for not putting it on properly, right?
Well, yeah.
Like,
I mean, my brother was like, I did kind of pick it up a bit skewer as well. So, and he was just sat there for a minute and just had to drive off and drive to work. And
well, people are saying here that apparently the coffee in the original story, the coffee was extremely hot,
like 87 degrees centigrade.
Them, so like,
Celsius,
there was a reason for it. So yeah, I mean, saying hot isn't really a problem. I mean, it should.
The coffee fused her labia.
Sorry.
Apparently, according to the chat, the coffee fused her labia.
I feel like that's
Jesus Christ.
Wow,
that's how hot
very
it was.
Specific. Jesus.
Oh my god.
McDonald's case. Is that going to be the headline?
Apparently, it's 88 degrees. That coffee. That's pretty hot.
79-year-old woman suffered third-degree burns in her pelvic region when she accidentally spilled hot coffee in her lap after purchasing it from a McDonald's restaurant.
Right. Like
had to get skin grafts and stuff. So it's like it was a genuine.
Yeah.
It wasn't just like it's a bit hot, and then suing them for fun. It was a genuine issue there.
Jesus Christ!
What they cover 2.7 million in punitive.
Some people
damages.
request their coffee extra hot, don't they, at Starbucks and places like that?
Yeah.
Lots of people do. My mum does. I mean, I understand
normally because
why.
if you're taking it somewhere as well, you want it to be just cold by the time you actually get to enjoy it.
Like even a lot of coffee shops, they just don't make it very hot, and I don't know why.
Certain alternative milks go bad after a certain temperature, like soya isn't very good after like 70 degrees, really.
Yeah.
But I don't know about
you take your
dairy.
thermometer to the coffee shop, right?
Yeah, I just dunk it in.
It's called my dick.
Hold on 1 second, please. It needs to.
You're a dick dipper. You're
Didn't burn.
Not sealed.
Where's your bathroom? Where's your bathroom? I need to test this out.
I say
I don't
already
have skin. I don't have
my
burns.
flies.
This isn't hot enough. I don't think that's how it should be done.
I cycled through town the other day with my flies wide open,
Fucking
all the way around.
dominating the streets.
How bad? Was that bad? Or was it
I
just
had some
cold?
pretty like bright underwear on, but it probably was just presumably like thermals or something. Yeah, no, it was a good time. Everyone enjoyed it. I got a lot of
So it's not, why didn't you just tell us your cock was out? Because that's
it
funnier.
wasn't. It was under like 3 layers of like padding.
Boring. Tell us a good story.
Boring,
the one time I decided to go commando, my fly was open. My
Oh
cock was
no!
flopping around.
My dick was just as I'm cycling along. It's like you know when you don't tie a strap right on a roof of a car.
Just wow.
Can else hear that whistle?
Quite the exaggeration there. When we all know you're triple arse, it's cold out there. That thing is
tiny. I'm glad for it to be small. It's a great evolutionary trait, you know. Penis can go from like an inch long to like 7 inches long. You know, it's amazing. What an incredible organ.
What a thing.
Even more reason not to fill it with fucking expanding foam.
Yeah, we've learned that. Don't do it, people. Don't expand your urethra. Anyway, this story headline was just funny to me. I just don't know if it's funny to you. Learner driver travelled 500 miles to take the UK's easiest driving test and failed. Which I just found really funny because it's like you've gone through the effort of going, like, researching where the easiest test you could possibly take, and they still fucking failed. That's just hilarious to me. Like,
You got to really suck at driving to bother to do that, though, haven't you?
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I failed. Shit.
Why is this one? What do you mean to fail? It was 500 miles. I've got up north.
Oh,
All the way to
Jesus
where is this? In Scotland, Isle of Mull, just off west coast of Scotland.
wow, yeah. I mean, that's a really long way to go.
The journey north took her a total of 10 hours by car and ferry. I'm guessing she wasn't driving. Having handpicked the test route after discovering it only consisted one roundabout and no parallel parking.
I mean, if you're that bad at driving that you have to do this, you shouldn't pass your test.
You really shouldn't. No,
Yeah,
this is a
like-
workaround that should not be done. Though I don't encourage it, because if you're on the roads and you're just like,
And you're
shit,
terrified of every roundabout.
get off the fucking road.
Yeah, I'm
Because
sorry,
you're
you don't
endangering
get
other
to
people.
drive.
Literally.
But
But I just found that really funny because they went out their way and they still failed.
Yeah, good. I'm glad. Do better.
yeah.
pretty
Don't do
funny
that.
though. Pretty funny.
Yeah, pretty funny.
Good story.
Pretty lol
Good little
situation.
belly laugh there.
I feel like at that point, if you've had to do something as extreme as that, you've probably already failed a few. But what's happening is
I think, yeah.
nobody is telling you what you're doing wrong, right?
Yeah,
because
they're
they
not
must not
learning.
know.
There's like a long, like they do like the.
But they're not hearing
The
it.
check
They're not
markers where
learning.
they're not
They're
absorbing it and
not
applying themselves.
understanding it.
Yeah.
I guess I should have said.
Which means
Because somebody needs
don't
to sit
be on the
down and go,
road.
like, look, first of all, we need to get, this isn't just about how to reverse around a corner. This is about, what you're doing on the road, where other people are around you, and your actions, how that implicates them. You know, I just feel like they need a better teacher.
I'm glad they got failed.
Well,
Yeah.
that's it exactly. Yeah, I mean,
One
'cause
less-
if they're looking for less roundabouts and stuff, you need to know roundabouts. Fuck me, that like you're gonna hit like 6 roundabouts just going to the shops. Like,
UK loves them.
You need
We
to
love
know
them.
how to use them. If
They're
you-
We're not
better,
all
they're
in
better than
Swindon,
four-way
Ross.
intersections as well.
Sorry?
They're safer
We're
than
not
four-way
all in
intersections.
Swindon.
Fucking the magic
fuck.
roundabout in Swindon, yeah.
I had to do the test there. I had to go through that magic roundabout for my test.
If you can survive there, you can
5
survive anywhere.
roundabouts.
You can probably
5 in
Google
1.
it, listener, but if you're interested, it's one massive roundabout with
nothing
little roundabouts circling it like a
Yeah.
like a UFO almost.
Yeah, one big one in the middle,
Yeah.
5 little ones dotted around it.
and you've got to work out how to navigate that.
Why did they create this? It's so messy as well. But yeah, I don't know why they call it the magic roundabout. It's nothing
Because it's
magic about it.
ridiculous.
It's the frustration. I mean, there's a picture up on the stream that looks just ridiculous.
It's the only one like it. in
But the
UK.
advice was treat each one like an individual roundabout. Just don't stress. Take your time, and you're fine. And you are fine. It is easy to use. It's just
Look at it.
No
That's
one's rushing on
insane.
these on a 5 set roundabout. No one's speeding through it, so you should be fine.
So
But I
say
had
you're
to go
here,
through
right?
that bad boy on my test, and that sucked.
You're on the bottom, and
Yeah,
I want
you're
to
on the
exit up here, top right.
Top
Top
right.
right.
So yeah, you stay in the right lane.
Stay in the right lane. You'd
And
go.
then you actually stay. So, it's hard to guide you without
it's
pointing.
fucking
But yeah, stay in the
bonkers
right
looking at
lane.
this.
Then you stay in the
Here's
right
my-
side of
Yeah.
that next lane. Again, if you're listening to this, I apologize. And then you go
Come
straight
across to
over,
the
then go into the left lane,
Yeah.
coming up there. And I've been through that many times. I've been through this countless times. Once you do it a couple times, you've got it. But
Right.
honestly,
Not a lot of people know this, but if you zoom out at a satellite level, it actually says "nuke here, please," and the magic roundabout
One
is just
day.
the middle of the bullseye. you know?
yeah. So
Um,
it's
Also
the
the
target.
there's
First
yeah,
roundabout
there's one
visible
in,
from space.
There's one in where was the place we went to make those orc masks?
Oh God, yeah. Where was that? I don't remember now. I don't even know which direction that was in. Was it nearer
it
to...
was in Coventry, which also, funnily
Oh,
enough, is the only
yeah.
other place in the UK with a "Please God nuke here" spot. But Coventry has one too.
Oh, nice.
Why
yeah.
does it have that? Is that
Because
genuine?
it's Coventry.
It's Coventry.
No,
Okay.
nobody likes Coventry, Ross. You've been to Coventry.
Don't
It's
remember
horrible. It's horrible.
it. Oh, remember
Imagine Milton Keynes, but nothing's been built recently. And by recently, I mean like for the last 30 years.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, that's fine. I haven't been to Milton Keynes in a long time either. I think I was in there once.
Yeah.
And again, don't remember. Not
Well, shout
memorable
out to the
places.
residents if you're listening in Coventry or Milton Keynes today.
that was directly for
We're
you.
Is it
thinking
the
of
magic
you.
roundabout?
We're thinking you're in our
Yeah.
prayers. In our
Sorry.
I
prayers.
think everyone should now have to go through the magic roundabout once in their lifetime just to experience the annoyance.
Make
of
sure you're
it
still
and
safe on the road.
pointlessness.
Maybe we could do that as a slog. We visit the Magic Roundabout.
Oh God,
my
it'd be
God.
so underwhelming. It would be, but we could do it.
Yeah, we've done it. Yeah.
We could, what we could do is we can start from one side and just work our way all the way around in a big circle.
You have to roll a dice, and that's your exit.
Yeah.
Where are we going?
Yes.
We navigate by dice for
I think
for
what would
8
be
hours.
funny is just seeing each of us have a go at it, because obviously I feel like you might get different lanes. You might, oh shit, I've gone the wrong way here, so I'm gonna have to take another left. And like that would be quite an interesting task if we could get maybe a drone shot from above. That would work, but I don't know if we get.
Well, not Casey Neistat, Ross. We can't get away with committing massive crimes with drones.
No, but it is Swindon, so I don't think people give.
Nobody's going to give a fuck.
Yeah,
that's true.
No
We could also.
They're always looking down at their shoes.
We could just wear high visors and then nobody will question it.
Of course, yeah.
I would go as the crow flies across the Magic Roundabout.
Just straight over
across.
the big one.
There's a few curbs there.
I'd wait for a gap and then floor it, and just go
Jesus.
straight.
He's going,
Right.
He's doing it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we could talk about the Magic Roundabout all day, but we do have to stop. We have to stop.
I couldn't try. I'm done. That was enough.
I could. Well, thank you for listening, everybody. Again, huge thanks to our patrons who provide us with the answer to the polls every week and also get the ad-free version. You're keeping this Hat Chat going every week. Much appreciated. And thanks to everyone else for listening to us today. We should be back next week, normal time. Another big shout out to Furion. Check out Furion Music on YouTube. And they do some great music, post UK hardcore music. So thank you, everybody. We'll see you next week.
UK post-hardcore.
UK post-hardcore, yeah.
They aren't post specifically UK.
They're not post
Part of the
UK.
Postal Service?
Not yet.
Not yet.
No. Anyway, thank you. And goodbye. See you next Friday.
Bye.
Bye.